Okay, to solve equations, you use your rearranging equation skills. Let's look at an equation like x plus 2 equals 5. Okay, to solve this equation, you need to get the x by itself. So the x on one side of the equal sign and everything else on the other. So we need to get the 2 over here. So we're going to subtract 2 from both sides. And we get just x left on that side, because they've cancelled, equals 5 minus 2 is 3. We've solved it. There you go. So just move things around by adding or subtracting or doing whatever to both sides to get the x by itself. And that's how you solve equations. Let's do another one. Let's do 3x equals 9. 3x equals 9. Okay, so we've got to get the x by itself. It's currently multiplied by 3, so let's divide both sides by 3. 3's cancel, and we get x equals 9 divided by 3 is 3. We've done it. Let's do another one. Let's do x over 4 is 5. X over 4 is 5. Okay, so we've got to get the x by itself. Let's multiply both sides by 4. So multiply that side by 4 and multiply that side by 4. X times 4 divided by 4 is just x. And 5 times 4 is 20. There you go. So that's how you solve equations. Let's do a few more slightly more difficult ones. Let's do 4x minus 2 is 10. Okay, 4x minus 2 equals 10. Okay, so, well, we can either add 2 to both sides first, nothing wrong with that, or we could divide both sides by 4 first. I would add 2 to both sides first. You'll get the hang of which thing is best to do first with just a bit of practice. The reason I don't want to divide both sides by 4 first is because we'd get minus 2 over 4 there, which is minus a half. It's fine, we could deal with that, but it's just slightly easier to add 2 to both sides first. So let's do that. Okay. Minus 2 plus 2 is gone, so we get 4x equals 10 plus 2 is 12. Okay, unlike these, we're not finished yet. We have more work to do. So let's divide both sides by 4, and that will get x by itself. Boom, boom. X equals 12 divided by 4 is 3. There you go, no problem. Let's do another one. X over 3 plus 5 is 9. X over 3 plus 5 equals 9. Okay. Well, again, we could subtract 5 from both sides first, nothing wrong with that. Or we could multiply both sides by 3 first. Either would work. I'm going to subtract 5 first because if we multiply by 3, you just get bigger numbers and it's easier to deal with smaller numbers. I mean, this doesn't really matter, but as long as you just do the basics right, you get the right answer at the end anyway. Okay, so let's subtract 5 from both sides. Plus 5 minus 5 is 0. Therefore, x over 3 is 9 minus 5 is 4. To get the x by itself, we need to multiply both sides by 3. So we get x equals 4 times 3 is 12. There we go. Right, what should we do next? Let's do 6x minus 4. 6x minus 4 equals 3x plus 5. Okay, this is slightly more complicated. In this case, we've actually got two terms with an x in it. It's no problem, just do exactly the same things as we've always been doing, and the answer will fall out. So, when you have two terms with x in it, you need to get all the x's on one side of the equals and all the numbers on the other. So, let's get all the x's over here. So to do that, to get this 3x over here, we need to subtract 3x from both sides. Okay, remember, whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. You can do anything you like to either side, but you have to do it to both sides. Okay, so 3x minus 3x is gone. 6x minus 3x is 3x. The 4 is untouched, equals 5. Okay, right, let's get the 4 over here. So we do that by adding 4. Let's do the opposite to both sides. So 3x equals 5 plus 4 is 9. Nearly there. Divide both sides by 3. And we get x equals 3. There you go. It might look a lot more intimidating than something like x plus 2 is 5, but it's exactly the same stuff. No problems. Let's do another. X plus 3 all over 2 equals 3x minus 6. Okay. Now remember, x plus 3 all over 2, the 2 is dividing the whole thing. It's not just, that's different to x over 2 and then plus 3. So, like here, you've got x over 3 and then plus 5. The 3 is only dividing the x. That's different to when the line goes under both of them, like here. The 2 is dividing the whole thing. Anyway, right, how are we going to solve this? Generally, when you've got stuff on the bottom, stuff dividing, denominators, deal with them first, okay? Generally. So let's get rid of that. Let's get everything on the top. So to get rid of that, we'll just do the opposite to whatever that's doing to both sides. That's dividing by 2, so let's multiply both sides by 2. So we're going to multiply that whole thing by 2, and we're going to multiply this whole thing by 2. Okay? So, x plus 3 divided by 2 multiplied by 2, they cancel. So we're left with just x plus 3. That was the whole plan all along on that side. Right, and now we've got to multiply out this bracket. So, it's 2 times that term and then 2 times that term. So 2 times 3x is 6x, and then 2 times minus 6 is minus 12. Good. It's looking better. We don't have anything on the bottom now, everything's on the top. So it looks similar to this one now. Right, so we've got two terms of x. So like before, get all the x's on one side and all numbers on the other. So that's plus 6x and that's plus 1x. So if I subtract x from both sides, then we'll be left with 5x here and no x's there. X minus x is 0. So we're left with 3 equals 6x minus x is 5x minus 12. Okay? Right. All the x's are on one side, but we've got two number terms, so let's get all the numbers on the other side. That's this side. So to do that, we're going to add 12 to both sides. Okay, and we get 3 plus 12 is 15 equals 5x. Nearly there. Divide both sides by 5. They cancel. And we get I don't think I've got space right there, so I'll go off to the side here. Therefore, 3 dots means therefore x equals 15 divided by 5 is 3. Good. Right, what next? The equation might have brackets in it, but again, no problem. Just multiply out the brackets. So let's do 3 times x plus 2 equals 4 times x minus 1. Okay, so we're going to have to multiply out the brackets to solve this. So let's do that. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times plus 2 is plus 6 equals 4 times x is 4x. 4 times minus 1 is minus 4. Okay, right, got 2 different terms with x in, so get all the x's on one side, all the numbers on the other. This x term is bigger than that one, so let's get this one over there. So we'll subtract 3x from both sides. Okay, 3x minus 3x is 0, leaving just 6 on that side, equals 4x minus 3x is just 1x, and minus 4. Okay, add 4 to both sides. Minus 4 plus 4, 6 plus 4 is 10. There you go, x equals 10. Doesn't matter which way round you write it, so that's the same as that. There you go. No problems. Right. Let's do 5 times x minus 3 equals 10. Okay. So, I wanted to do this example to show that you don't always need to immediately jump in to multiplying out the brackets. In this case, you had no choice. But in this case, you don't immediately have to do 5 times x and then 5 times minus 3. Because what if we divided both sides by 5 first? You can actually avoid having to multiply out the bracket, and sometimes it's better to do that. Practice will help you decide what to do to make life easy for yourself. So let's try that. We're going to divide both sides by 5. Okay, we haven't multiplied out the bracket, so why did we do that? What do we get? Well, these 5's cancel. X minus 3 times 5 divided by 5, 5's cancel. You're left with just x minus 3 equals 10 divided by 5 is 2. Okay? Add 3 to both sides and we get the answer. X equals 5. So you see, we didn't have to multiply out the bracket. But again, I want to emphasize that if we had multiplied out the bracket, it would be fine. We'd still get the right answer. It's just that it's slightly easier to do it this way because the numbers are smaller. And you don't have to bother multiplying out the bracket. I'll prove it to you that we still get the same answer. So let's go back to the original question or equation. Solve 5 times x minus 3 is 10. Okay. Same question, we're going to multiply out the bracket this time. So 5 times x is 5x, 5 times minus 3 is minus 15. Okay? Right. There's only one term in x, but 2 terms in numbers, so get all the x's on this side, all the numbers on that side. So we need this 15 over here, so we're going to add 15 to both sides. Okay? Minus 15 plus 15 gone, so we're left with just 5x here, equals 10 plus 15 is 25. Okay, nearly there. Divide both sides by 5. And we get the answer. X is 25 divided by 5 is 5. So, you see, we've still got the same answer. It's just that by avoiding multiplying out the brackets, we had to deal with slightly smaller numbers here. It made life slightly easier. Now, I know 25 is not a huge number, and I'm sure you can do 25 divided by 5. But as equations get more complicated, this becomes an important consideration. You can avoid dealing with really big numbers that you wouldn't be able to deal with in your head. So practice again and you'll get the hang of which route to go down. Good. Well, I think that'll do for an introduction to solving equations. Is there anything else to say? Not really. Well, just want to say, I guess, it doesn't matter what decision you make. If you do decide to multiply out the brackets when perhaps you should have done something like dividing, it's fine. As long as you get everything right, you'll still get the right answer. And so don't worry too much about that. Just get the basics right. Whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. Just keep doing that and the answer will fall out.